children who are vulnerable, they were getting those who are on school feeding program. And now they are at home, where parents have lost their jobs. There are no means of livelihood. That also meant it was going to affect their nutrition. So malnutrition was something observed in the sense like those who had one good meal at school, it was not available at home. And also for the girl child, the government of Kenya does provide sanitary pads for all girl children in Kenya. It's something perhaps that is not done anywhere else in the world. This also impacted the little girls because when they went home, they come from poor families or they are orphans and vulnerable. These provisions were not there because once schools close, those school meals, go with a shutdown. The provision of, hygiene materials also, went with a shutdown of the schools. So that is the effect on the young children. And then having to stay at home for 6 to 9 months and being confined because of physical distancing protocols. That means that children also denied recreation, leisure. It is difficult to lock a child who is 5, 10, 12 for 24 hours within their home. They want to go out and play with their friends. But again, we had to comply. These children had to comply with the Ministry of Health protocols, with the directives being given by the Ministry of Education.
Explain to us how COVID-19 has impacted learning for the younger children in Kenya.
I think of all the impacts, the groups that has been impacted most are, young children. Children in early childhood education, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds who go to kindergarten. The 2020 experience was extremely stressful for young children because for some, particularly our primary school children and our secondary school young youth, they were required to take classes, either listen to a radio broadcast or watch a television educational program or have a smart home. The expectation was they would have a smartphone at home, either the parent has, and they would share that with the child. The digital divide exists. That meant exclusivity of, again, children who are vulnerable, children who are not able to access these digital technologies, parents who have no smartphones, for example. Their children will not be able to get their assignments on WhatsApp or any other platform to be able to relay the same. And not to forget that not all parents are ICT literate, so that when the assignment is sent, that they are able to help their children to be able to do that. And for others, it's unfortunate that unethical behavior exists, across the world, is that some parents would also do the assignment for their children, on their smartphones and submit it as their own work. So there was a downside even for those who have the technology.
You touched on the disruption of families, Dr. Ngige. Can you talk a little bit about the young girls?
Things like gender-based violence at home, either against the pupils, the young adults who had nothing much to keep them, engaged. And so we can talk about even family disruption. So the issue of increased pregnancies come with these environments that are not safe for children. So that is what happened. For those 6 to 9 months, very many girls did become pregnant and are now, child mothers. They have a right to go back to school. And that, again, will depend on how the well-being of the family. Are they willing to raise the child while the girl goes back to school? So those are the issues that we are handling right now.